Hey friends, today we are doing another Q&A video. I asked on Instagram for people to send me some questions about my life and experiences on YouTube so that I can give you a chance to get to know me a little bit better, and also so I can share my insights on what it's like to be a YouTube content creator. In case anybody's out there trying to do the same thing, maybe I can help. So we're just gonna go about our day, hanging out with friends, visiting some theme parks, answering questions about myself, and having a beautiful get to know me kind of day. Anywho's, let's go do this. Gracie's hanging out on the couch, just relaxing on this beautiful Saturday morning, and I'm excited to answer some of your questions. I've gotten a lot of questions, and some really good ones that kind of shed light on me personally, and also on being a YouTube content creator. So I think we're just going to dive right on in. What are you sitting up for? You want a treat? I love the way Gracie sits. She sits like a human being, straight up. Just to give you guys a little backstory, I've been making YouTube videos for around 7 years now, and in that time, I've made over 1,000 videos that equal out to 80 million views, and it has been the greatest accomplishment in my life. And the most important thing I learned on this journey is I discovered who I am, what I want to do with my life, and who I want to be, and I can never thank you guys enough. You made all of this possible. I've been able to build this amazing community, and I've been having these incredible opportunities to travel the world and make videos sharing my experiences with you. And honestly, like I said, it's the greatest experience ever, and I could never thank you enough. And just like my last video, BetterHelp has agreed to sponsor this video, the world's largest online therapy. And I figured it was perfect for this topic of video, because we're not only going to be talking about the great and good aspects of making videos, but we're going to talk about the struggles of content creating, things like anxiety, depression, and even managing my ADD. And BetterHelp, like I said, being the world's largest online therapy, it's perfect for people on the go like me, because you can have sessions at home or you can do it in a hotel, and it's just really an awesome tool to use, especially for yourself. So thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring the video. They even gave me a link, I'll put it in the description, where you get 10% off your first month. And I think we're just going to dive into the questions and, just go about the day. Full disclosure, anything I say in the video today is just my opinion and my insights on what I've experienced. Nothing set in stone. It could help you if you're trying to be a YouTube content creator, or maybe it's not helpful at all. I just want to share it with you. This is a great question to start the Q&A, and I have answered it before, but so many people asked again, I figured I'd revisit it just in case anyone's new here. But don't worry, I'm going to be answering some questions and shedding light on some things that I have never talked about in the past. This is just so people can kind of get up to date and hear a little origin story of paging Mr.Morrow. And the question is, what did you do before YouTube job-wise, and at what point did you realize YouTube can be your full-time job? Before I started making videos full-time, I was a restaurant manager for Denny's. I just worked at a Denny's for like 13 years, and that wasn't what I wanted to do in my life at that time, and I didn't know that. I was just in survival mode. I've been like that since I was 16 years old. I would do anything for work as long as it paid the bills, and I just was like in that situation. So I didn't really have the opportunity to inspire to be somebody else. I never went to college. I never, wanted to be a doctor or an astronaut or anything like that. I just wanted to get by. And during the pandemic, I lost my job at Denny's. And prior to that, I was making YouTube videos, but it was just silly, fun videos, hanging out in the parks on my days off, nothing like serious. And once I didn't have a job, I didn't have a way to make money. So I started making more YouTube videos, because that was the only like resource that I had, and it started taking off, and people were commenting and saying things like, your videos make me happy, and you're very entertaining, you're funny, and it made me feel good about myself. Hearing the feedback from people about my videos kind of inspired me to want to do this for a living, and that's what I decided to do. I was making the videos during the pandemic, and then eventually the world opened back up, and I got a job offer to go back working in the restaurants, and I had to make a decision. Do I go back doing something that I really didn't want to do, or do I take a chance and keep trying to like live this dream that I had no idea I wanted to do? So I decided to, stay on course and keep on making videos. And like I said before this, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I didn't know who I wanted to be. I just wanted to exist in present time, and now this is who I want to be. And like I said, I want to dedicate my life to making people happy and entertaining people. And I'm so happy that I decided to do that, because right now I'm living my best life, and I absolutely love it. And it's an honor to be able to share all of my stories and experiences with you. I still have my name tag from Denny's, and I keep it on my fridge so I can remember what I used to do before I started making these YouTube videos. And it's kind of cool, you want to hang on to things from the past so you can remember things that you used to be and where you came from. This is a really good question. What would you say to someone getting started in content creation? I would say go for it. Live it up. Chase your dream, and it's a win-win. If you're trying to make content creating your full-time career, I probably would tell you the odds, only because I know that there's a lot of people out there who want to quit their jobs and move to Florida and become a full-time vlogger or full-time YouTuber. But it has changed a lot since when I first started. When I first started, it was more of a social media platform, YouTube, a way to express yourself. But now it has evolved into so much more. In fact, YouTube is the most watched streaming service in the United States. The most watched streaming service. That means more people watch YouTube than Netflix, Disney Plus, and that is crazy, And with how many people are out there actually making YouTube videos, to be able to break through and become a full-time content creator on the most watched streaming service, it's not really that easy. In fact, there are 114 million active YouTube channels, 114 million active channels, and only 3% of them can make enough money as a full-time career just from the YouTube platform. So 3% of 114 million active channels, and that's not really the best of odds, but it's possible. And if you dream it, you could do it, but if you're just trying to do it as a hobby and you just want to have fun making videos, it's like the greatest thing ever, because even if you don't make it as a full-time content creator, you're gonna have those memories to look back on forever, and it's all gonna be right in your hand, right on your phone. It's like the modern day VHS tapes. My mom, she used to record me, my brother and sister playing out in the yard on her VHS camcorder, and when I got older, I got to watch those videos and relive those memories, and I'm so happy she did that. And that's what YouTube's like now. If you record your family vacation, when your kids get older, they're going to be able to look back and watch their first time walking down Main Street, seeing them ride their favorite ride, or going on vacation to a cool city. And that's something, like I said, you really can't put a price tag on. Even if you were trying to make it as a full-time content creator and it never happened, you're always going to have those videos to look back on and share with your loved ones, and kind of laugh about the cool things you do. Like I mentioned, you guys sent me so many questions. I'm not going to be able to answer all of them in today's video, but if you follow me on Instagram, I am going to go and reply to a lot of the questions that you guys sent me just through the story function. Look at this. It's actually hard to shift through all the questions and find the ones I want to answer because there's so many of them. But I'm going to try to answer questions that, answer multiple questions, and also answer ones on Instagram. Next question. What has been the hardest, most challenging thing about being on YouTube? And this is an interesting question because I don't think there's anything hard or challenging about physically going out and capturing content. I think that's the fun part, the most enjoyable part. I think the challenging part is being creative and using your brain. For me personally, I've always been kind of like a physical worker. You know what I mean? You could tell me to go outside, cut the grass, and rake the leaves, and I could do that easily. But if you told me to go outside, cut the grass, rake the leaves, make a story out of it, and turn it into a video, then I start challenging myself. And once you start tapping into that creative side of your brain, you start getting passionate about it. And once passion comes into play, then you start holding yourself accountable because you're so passionate about it, you know? And I don't think that there's anything out in the world that was created not out of passion. People don't make music just because someone tells them to make music. They make it because they want to make music. And it can get to your head. I mean, you can start, being super critical about yourself and what you're doing because you're so passionate about what you're doing. And I've always believed we're our worst critics. I watch my videos back sometimes and I always, wish I can do this, or maybe I could have done this better and stuff like that. And even though all of those things are very challenging, for my brain, and it sounds like it's something like difficult, it's something I would never want to trade for anything else in the world. I've never been passionate about anything I've ever done in my life, any of my jobs. I've never taken pride in what I do more than I do making these videos. And it's something that I never thought I was possible of doing. I never thought I had that ability. So I guess the most challenging part for me is not burning myself out trying to be the best that I can, because I want to be the best, and I want to be able to, like I said, make people happy, make people laugh and entertain. And I want to be able to, spread joy and kind of make everything fun. And if that doesn't happen, then I get, really down on myself sometimes. And that's normal. I mean, if you were to substitute that for any other job where you're constantly trying to create something, I think anybody else would feel the same way. But like I said, there's good things and there's some negative things about making videos on YouTube. And I think maybe that could be one of the negative things. We're going to be stepping out and going to get lunch at Hollywood Studios with my friend Scotty, who works for Roosevelt's. And somebody asked me, what is my favorite Roosevelt shirt? And my closet's pretty fully stocked. I got lots to choose from. In fact, it's probably gotten a little bit more stock since the last time you guys saw it. But we're going to head out to Hollywood. I'm going to put on a nice little fancy shirt. Actually, maybe I'll put on my favorite shirt. And we're going to go hang out with some friends and move this Q&A vlog to Hollywood Studios. But just for a little bit, we're just going to grab lunch and then come back and answer some more questions. In fact, maybe when I'm there, I'll just start answering some, generic Disney questions like my favorite park and my favorite ride. A lot of cool stuff, since we're inside the park. This is my favorite Roosevelt shirt of all time, mostly because it reminds me of my trip to Japan and my friend Steve. And somebody actually asked, how did you get involved with Roosevelt's? Did you know them from their beginning? And it's kind of a cool story. They were an up-and-coming clothing brand. I was an up-and-coming YouTuber, and I got my first shirt about 3 or 4 years ago. It was from the Disney movie Soul, and they saw me wearing it in one of my videos and reached out and was like, hey, we noticed you're wearing one of our shirts. We'd like to send you some more. And I was like, oh yeah, please. I love wearing these shirts. And I told them the next time they're in town, maybe we should hang out. And we did hang out and we became great friends. As soon as I met them, I knew how awesome they were. And I knew I wanted to be friends with them. And at this point, now they're family. They're family to me. And we've gotten to do so many amazing things. And it was such a natural, organic kind of like partnership sponsorship. Even to this day, they don't really have me, say anything. They don't tell me to wear any shirts or anything like that. I don't have a contract with them. It's all just like, out of friendship, very natural, because we both mutually want to see the best for each other. And I even got to the point where I have my own Paging Mr. Morrow shirts, which is something I never thought I would do. Like, I never wanted to make shirts. I never wanted to sell shirts, but I noticed that people were starting to make shirts of me, my face on like a shirt. And at first I just thought it was really cool. And there were a lot of mom and pop small shops doing it, and I had no issue with that at all because I was kind of just flattered, But then I started noticing that some companies were making shirts of me, and I was getting messages on Instagram and on email of people telling me they bought my shirt and they never received it. And I was like, wait, I'm not selling any shirts. And I started getting nervous because, I don't want anyone out there thinking that, I'm making shirts and, taking money from somebody and not delivering the product. So Roosevelt's was just like, Nate, you're going to have your own, shirts so that you can, direct people to the official merchandise. And I ended up coming up with some ideas, and they were able to put it together and make something out of it. And I love them. Now I think this is the 4th series of shirts we've already done. And I, never thought that people would want to buy them. I never thought there would be people walking around the parks wearing a shirt with my face on it. And now when I do see that and I see somebody in the parks, I get so excited and I try to take a picture with them. I have basically pictures of me and anybody that's ever wore one of my shirts in the parks that I've seen on my phone now. And they're just such a great company. And like I said, I love that it spawned from just friendship and evolved into this amazing thing where we travel the world. And I've been to Tokyo, and I've been to Paris and London and Canada and a dozen states, checking out the Comic-Con. And we did that for 3 years. It's something, it's so cool what can happen and what friendships you can make by simply, uploading videos to YouTube. And it's still like that to this day. In fact, we're going to go meet Scotty now at Hollywood Studios and have a little lunch. And we have made it to Disney's Hollywood Studios. I love this park during the holiday season, and I love all the decorations. And speaking of parks, somebody asked what my favorite Disney park is, and I'm going to have to be nostalgic and say the original Disneyland. I absolutely love that park, even though, the Magic Kingdom or Walt Disney World was the first Disney park I've ever come to, but Disneyland will always have a special place in my heart. We have a couple of minutes before our lunch reservation, and my friend Scotty's never been on the Skyliner, so to kill some time, I think we're just gonna take a quick Skyliner ride there and back. I'm just gonna do a little lap. Since we're up in the Skyliner just hanging out now because it stopped, I figured we'd answer another question. And this one's a fun question. What's my favorite ride? And honestly, I'm going to have to go with Soarin'. Still to this day, it is the biggest gasp when I first rode it. I was just like, wow, this is amazing. So I'm always going to put Soarin' at my #1 spot. Since I'm doing a Q&A, Scotty, I want to ask you a question. What is your favorite memory or your favorite video you've ever been in that I've made?
So it's actually a 3-way tie. The first I would say is Tokyo and Osaka, just because it was first time going there. We had a lot of fun, covered a lot of ground. Also our last trip with the big guy. I would say second was Disneyland Paris, just because the day started a little gloomy with the weather. We didn't think we were going to get a lot in, and we absolutely crushed the day after that, covered a lot of ground. And then I would say the third of the 3-way tie is Astoria.
Yeah.
Just because we got to relive the whole Goonies life and just run around like crazy over there.
Making memories, man.
Always.
And more to come.
I mean, we're making one right now.
Yes, we are. Your first Skyliner flight.
Yeah, absolutely. loving it, even though I am deathly afraid of heights.
We have made it to 50's Primetime Cafe, and before we head in, somebody asked what my favorite Disney restaurant was. Even though I love this place, I think my favorite Disney restaurant has got to be Ohana. I love it so much there, and I've made so many memories. The food, the atmosphere, the history, such a good spot. But we're dining here, another good location. Another question somebody asked is, who is your overall favorite character? And I would probably have to say, character-wise, Goofy. I love Mickey, but I just get excited whenever I meet Goofy. And now we're at 50's Primetime, and I got the sampling of Mom's favorite. And I love it here. The food is always so good. Here it is, a sampling of Mom's favorites. I got the mashed potatoes, the meatloaf, the chicken, the pot roast, and I got corn with it. Perfect dinner for a 50's good time. 50's Primetime Cafe was so delicious. I love eating there just for the experience, but like I said, if I had to pick one favorite restaurant in Walt Disney World, I think it would have to be Ohana. And also, somebody asked, what do I think about the news on the Muppets attraction? And honestly, I'm excited for the Muppets roller coaster, but I'm so sad to lose Muppet Vision 3D. That was the last thing Jim Henson ever worked on, and I love going to Pizza Rizzo and going upstairs to the prom and dancing. So I'm going to relive those memories forever, but I'm excited to see the new roller coaster, the new theming. I think Rockin' Roller Coaster is just going to get a fresh, paint job, and they're going to add different effects, but it's going to be the same ride, just with the Muppets, and I'm excited for that. But RIP Muppet Vision. I'll definitely come back and make a video before it closes for good. I was going to go see it today, but we got to get home and finish the Q&A. Sorry, I'm not like a traditional Q&A-er. I don't like being stationary for long periods of time, so I'm constantly on the go. And I figured we'd answer more questions as we walk Gracie Grill. And one of the questions I thought was really cool is, why did I leave Pennsylvania, and would I ever go back? As some of you guys may know, I grew up in Pennsylvania, Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I lived there the majority of my life, and I never left the state of PA until I was in my 20s. And the first time I left PA, I came to Florida, and I went to Disney World. It was my first time on a plane, and it was just so amazing. And I remember coming down here vacationing, and it was my goal to move down here, so I eventually did end up moving to Florida, and I don't think I'd ever go back. I love it here so much. As much as I, miss PA, and I miss my family, and I miss, the food, I don't miss the seasonal depression. I don't like winters. Right now, my mom, she just got hit with a foot of snow. The first big snow of the year, and it was 12 inches of snow. Waking up at 1 in the morning to go to work at 6 a.m. to dig your car out is something that I would give up any day of the week, especially if I had to choose between sweating under the hot Florida sun or freezing in the cold Pennsylvania snow. I mean, Florida is the place for me. Another really good question is, what do I do on days I'm not making videos? And honestly, just chill. I hang out with Gracie, we go for walks, we hang around the house. I love to go out and experience new restaurants and try food and, things like that. Same thing I do on the video, except for I take days off where I'm not making videos. And it's kind of crazy because you would think that I'm always on the go, but I'm a pretty chill, relaxed person, especially when I get home. I like to lay around and watch movies and just hang out and enjoy life. Look at this little precious girl. She's enjoying life right now. You got some head scratchers? Oh yeah. I've got a couple more questions to answer before we end the video. I know I've been talking for like 20 or 30 minutes, and these questions are a good mix of things about me personally and also things about me being a YouTuber. But I want you guys to know that everything I've gone through in life has shaped me into the person that I am today, and I am proud of the person that I have become. And even if some of these things sound depressing, the reason I'm telling you this is because I want it to be a message of hope to people out there there who could be going through the same thing, that you could change your stars and things do get better. And this question is really cool because it asks, tell us more about your childhood and growing up in PA. Like I mentioned, I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and we grew up in a low-income household. In fact, I grew up in the housing authority in the projects, and we didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't go to Disney when I was younger, and I couldn't go to Universal, and my dad left my mom when I was very young, and I grew up not having a father figure in my life, and I didn't know how traumatizing that was until I got older, and it was very hard on me when, you know, my mom and dad split. In fact, I even had to go to court, and I think I verbally had to say who I wanted to live with, and I ended up living with my mom, and I'm so happy I did because I ended up becoming like a mama's boy. And growing up, I had a hard time making friends. I think it has to do with my ADD, but it was very challenging to connect and make friends with people. I tried, you know, I remember I used to go up to kids and ask if I can play with them or if I could like go to like a party and stuff like that, and I got rejected, and it didn't feel good, and it kind of made a complex, and it was hard to overcome that, and like I said, everything that I've been through kind of shaped me into the person that I am today. And the reason I tell you guys this is it kind of explains why I love doing what I do so much. I love going to the parks, and I love connecting with people and seeing people wanting to be friends with me because we share a common interest, and that's something I didn't have when I was a kid. And I also love seeing families like enjoying their vacations because, like I said, I didn't have a father growing up. I kind of always wished I did, you know, I kind of always wished we had a big happy family together, but that didn't happen. And every time I go to the parks, I always like to think what it could have been like. And it's kind of crazy because even though, you know, my mom, she tried the best that she could because, you know, she's a single mom raising kids by herself. I feel like I lost a lot of guidance and a lot of memories that a lot of kids grow up with. And when I see that happening in the parks, it just makes me happy. It makes me so happy knowing that there's families out there living their life and doing things that I always wanted when I was a kid. It's like I said, it's something hard for me to talk about because it is something that you don't realize how traumatizing it is until you get older. You know, I look back on things and I realize that, you know, these events have kind of shaped me and built up things in my life, and it's kind of the answers to why I do the things that I do. You know, going to the parks and meeting up with people and getting a chance to say hi is so important to me because I know what it's like, you know, to not have somebody want to talk to you or someone not want to be your friend. So that's why I try to make every encounter I can with anybody I run into a pleasant, very nice encounter, even though sometimes, you know, you could have a bad day and stuff like that, but deep down inside, I want someone to walk away always thinking that I'm a welcoming person, and I really am, because that's what I would want the world from me. So that's a little bit of a backstory of what it was like for me growing up. I was a mama's boy, hanging out with my mom, no friends. I wasn't even in school. Like, I left school when I was 16 years old. And I remember just like a casual Friday night was hanging out at the Old Country Buffet with my mom, literally. And like I said, I'm proud of everything I've gone through in life because it really did shape me into the person that I am today. And now I can say I've got the best friend in the world. Honestly, growing up, I always wanted a pet too, and I never had a dog. In fact, Gracie is the first time I've ever had my own dog, and now I see why everyone wants dogs. They literally are man's best friend. Look at that smile. we had to come inside because somebody started cutting the grass. And I got more questions. Like I said, I kind of want to just burn through them at the end of the video like we're doing now. And this one's a good question because it asks, what does work-life balance look like for you? And like I mentioned, everything that I say is basically just my personal experiences and opinions. Everybody else could be different, and I'm just sharing to you guys how I feel about the subject. And this is kind of something that I struggled with a lot once I started making videos because I didn't know that you could have separate things. When I first started making videos, I wasn't knowledgeable on social media or YouTube or anything like that. So I would go off other people's leads and what I would see. And, in the beginning, I thought that everywhere I had to go make a video. If it was going to hang out with a friend, oh, I'm going to make a video, stuff like that, include everything in my life into YouTube. But that's not the case. And that's something I've learned, throughout the years of making videos. At the end of the day, I only show you guys what I want to show you guys. And me specifically, I always want to show you the happy, good stuff. You know what I mean? Because that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do with my content. And in the beginning, like I said, I would just constantly be vlogging with my friends or, doing stuff and never really being able to just not do it and enjoy it. Recently in life, I've been doing that quite often because I started realizing that I can do them both. I can make videos this day of the week and I can go out and hang out with my friends and have fun, and it doesn't have anything to do with YouTube. And that's kind of how I am now. I really do want to keep my work and life separate. I want to just be, a fun guy hanging out in the parks and showing people really cool places around the world. And whatever I do outside of that is kind of me and just enjoying life, and no need to always vlog it or even talk about it, in the YouTube videos. I like to share some of my personal life with you guys, accomplishments and decorating and my house and stuff. But for the most part, the only time I really talk about things is during these Q&As and kind of the get to know me videos. So I guess, my work life, I really do, I want to keep it separate. And it's kind of something I want to let people know out there who may start YouTube. At the end of the day, you control what you want to show to people. You don't have to show anything if you don't want to. And, I had to learn that over the years. But next question. What are you looking forward to the most in 2025? And I guess I would have to say the same thing I've been doing this whole time. Making videos and sharing my experiences with you. I'll keep doing this as long as I can, or as long as you guys want to watch and follow along. I do have some goals of things I want to do in 2025. I don't know if they're possible, and some of them I already know I'm definitely doing. I know I'm going back to Tokyo for Star Wars Celebration, and I cannot wait to experience that. Also, I would love to be able to officially say I've been to every Disney park around the world. So maybe a trip to Shanghai and Hong Kong. It's only two parks I have left, Shanghai and Hong Kong, and then I can say I've visited every Disney park in the world, and that's always something on my bucket list. One of the things I've always wanted to complete, and who knows, maybe 2025 may be the year for that. And finally, the last question. This one's a great question, but what has been your favorite experience you've had since becoming a YouTuber? And I was fortunate enough to have some amazing experiences and the opportunity to create some incredible memories. But if I'd have to pick one, and this kind of leads back into a previous question, it would be being able to take my family on a proper Disney World vacation. And to me, like I said, growing up, I always wanted, I used to imagine, me and my family going to the parks and hanging out. And the reason I love doing that to this day is because I get to go to the parks and see that happening for people all around the world. You know, nothing more precious, I think, in the world is seeing a family walk down Main Street, USA for the first time, or, you know, a family getting together to board a plane. It kind of just gives me flashbacks to when I was a kid, and I always kind of wanted that, you know? Everything I saw in the movies, I was like, oh, I wish my life was like that. And for me to actually make that possible for myself when I grew up is such an accomplishment and an amazing experience. And not only did I get to make that happen, but I also filmed it. You know, my family came down, actually, I think it was last year, and we had an amazing vacation at Disney. We stayed in the hotels, we, you know, did all the experiences, and for the most part, I got to document a couple of those days. The most of the days, we just did what normal families do on a Disney vacation, and it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I got to experience that and live it. So it's probably my most memorable experience. And like I said in the beginning of the video, at the end of the day, if I lost everything and I don't have what I have now, I'm always going to have those videos to remember and look back on, you know? And that's the win-win situation in making YouTube videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a lot of me talking and me getting a little sentimental and a little sad, but all for good reasons. All for good reasons. And I guess we'll see you next time. Bye!